Okay, so this is the second question I mentioned about parametric equations. This is more on the slightly harder side to the PM2 content. So x is given as 2 cos t and y is the root 3 multiplied by cos of 2t. One thing to note here is that the angle inside the cos here is t, whereas the one here is 2t. And whenever you have a 2 in the trig, that should trigger memory. It's to do with a double angle formula, which you may or may not need for this question. All right, so t is between 0 and pi. This is expressing the domain for the parameter t for this parametric equation. Now, first part of this question asks you to work out the gradient function for this parametric equation, but it asks you to work it out such that the answer you get has to be in terms of t. Luckily, for both our x and y are in terms of t. Now, the formula for dy dx in terms of a parametric differentiation is equal to dy by dt over dx by dt. In other words, you differentiate the y with respect to t, that becomes the numerator of the fraction, and you differentiate the x with respect to t, and that goes on the denominator. So if we just differentiate the y with respect to t, you can see here that root 3 here times by cos of 2t. We can use the chain rule for differentiation for that. So we can differentiate the cos, which gives you a minus sine of 2t, multiplied by the differentiation of 2t, which gives you 2, and then the root 3 stays as root 3. So we'll just rewrite that as 2 root 3 there. So just quickly explain again. All right, so differentiate the cos gives you a minus sine, and everything inside the sine stays the same. Then you multiply by the differentiation of what's inside the cos, and if you differentiate 2t, you get 2, multiplies the root 3, gives you 2 root 3. Okay, so now we differentiate the x with respect to t, and that just gives you minus 2 sine t. Again, just to remind you about the formula, dy dx is equal to dy dt over dx dt. You can see the dy on the top there and dx underneath there. Both the dy and the dx are being differentiated with respect to t. Let's simplify a little bit here. As the minuses cancel, the 2 cancels. We're left with root 3 sine 2t over sine t. Now, we can stop at this point here, but sometimes the question does ask you to simplify your answer. We might ask you to give it in a certain form, but knowing that sine 2t is a double angle, we can actually use the double angle to see if we can simplify further. So here we have root 3. Sine 2t is equal to 2 sine t cos t. So that it'll be 2 sine t times cos t and all over sine t, and we can see here that the sine t can cancel, therefore dy dx is equal to 2 root 3 cos t. It will be the simplified version to our function for the derivative. Okay, so I've just readjusted the board here. So the dy dx is equal to root 3 sine 2t over sine t, which I've shown you that also simplifies into 2 root 3 cos t. Now, second part of the question tells us that point P lies on the curve C, which is given by this parametric equation, where the t value is 2 pi by 3. The line L is normal to the curve at point P. Show, again, must show all the steps and you're working out, show that the equation of this line, which is normal to the curve at P, is given by this standard form for equation of a straight line. Okay, so where do we start from? I'm going to highlight the word normal here because this is like a hint to a starting point. Normal means we need to work out the equation of normal, so it's going to be a straight line graph, so obviously we need to work out a gradient. Now, to work out the gradient of the normal, first we need to work out the gradient of what the tangent is. And once you know what that is, the gradient of the normal will be the negative reciprocal of the gradient of the tangent. Now, the gradient of the tangent is the same as the gradient of the curve. And the gradient of the curve is given as dy by dx, and what did we do in part A? We worked out dy dx. Now we want to work out the gradient of the curve at point P. At point P, the t value at point P is equal to 2 pi by 3. Okay, so to work out the gradient of the tangent, all we have to do is substitute t value, which is 2 pi over 3, into our dy dx. Obviously, there's two versions here, depending on which version you come up with in an exam. If you got this, you didn't simplify, then obviously that is going to be used for your t value. And if you did go on further to simplify, then you substitute your t value into this expression. I'm just going to put it in here because there's less working out needed for working out the gradient of the tangent using this one. So that's 2 root 3 times by cos of t, which is 2 pi by 3. On the calculator, cos of 2 pi by 3 gives you minus a half. So 2 root 3 times minus a half gives you minus root 3. So therefore, the gradient of the normal would be the negative reciprocal of the gradient of the tangent, but the gradient of the tangent is over the negative, so that becomes a plus 1 over root 3. Now that we have the gradient of the normal, which is 1 over root 3, we can now go further by working out the equation of the normal. Now, our normal is a straight line graph. A straight line graph has equation y equals to mx plus c. And the second version, which is the standard version, is y minus y1 equals to the gradient times by x minus x1. And if you look at the final answer, they have used the standard equation of the straight line, obviously, which is the second one here. You can use the first one, but I would use the second one because the second one would be easier to just manipulate into this form. So this is the gradient, so it'll be y minus y1 equals to the gradient is 1 over root 3 times by x minus x1. And in terms of what y1 and x1, what they are, these are basically the coordinate of where the normal goes through. And our normal line L goes through point P. So point P has a x coordinate, it has a y coordinate. We're not given what they are, but we are given the t value of the x coordinate and the y coordinate for this point. And where do we get them from? We go back to the original parametric equation where x is 2 cos t and y equals root 3 cos t. Cos 2t, we substitute the t values in, and that gives you the x and y coordinate of that point. So 2 times cos of 2 pi by 3, well, cos of 2 pi by 3 we had it worked out here is minus a half. So minus a half times 2 gives you minus 1 as the x coordinate. To work out the y coordinate, y is equal to root 3 times cos of 2t. So 2 times 2 pi by 3 is 4 pi by 3. And plug in your calculator. When you plug in 4 pi by 3 in the calculator, you also get minus a half. So that your y value is therefore minus root 3 over 2. So it's minus root 3 over 2. So this is the x1 value and this is the y1. And those values basically goes inside your equation of your straight line. So y minus y1. Y1 is already negative, so that becomes a plus root 3 over 2 equals to the gradient 1 over root 3 bracket x minus x1, which is minus 1, makes that a plus 1. Now, to get rid of this fraction here, okay, you can see here there are no fractions in the final answer. We're going to multiply everything by root 3 to begin with. So we have root 3 times by y plus the root 3 times root 3 is 3, so that just becomes 3 over 2 equals to, that's gone, so we have x plus 1. And then to get rid of this fraction, we're going to multiply everything by 2. So that will give you 2 root 3y plus 3 equals to 2x plus 2. Okay, and the final step, obviously, if you look at the answer, we need to have the 2x as positive, which means, and then the y obviously is negative. So obviously, if you bring the y from the left side to the right side, it will become negative. So just rewrite that as, so we have 2x, and then the 2 root 3y across here gives you a negative 2 root 3y. And then you got 2 here, the minus the 3 off gives you minus 1. All of that is equal to 0. Compare that what we have here. It matches. Therefore, this is the equation of your normal. But here, can you see that I've shown you every single step here because it's a show question. You want to bank as many marks as you can. Avoid, again, can't stress how much that you have to show all the steps, because the moment you start working things in your head and jumping, in case, what if you didn't get the final answer, you made an error there, and then you just give the answer even though, because it's there, you're going to lose marks because you haven't shown how you go from each step, from one step to the next, and you're working out. Very important that all the steps are shown. Okay, so I'll just reorganize the board here. So the answer to part B that we had to work out, obviously we've shown that this is the equation of the normal. We also worked out that the coordinate of P is -1 and -√3/2, where T is equal to 2 pi by 3. I just got that there in case we need it for the final part of this question. So here we have the line L intersects the curve C again at point Q. C, remember, is governed by the parametric equation on the top. So this line L is a normal to the curve. So we know that the line L is normal to the curve at point P. So this is one of the points that the line L will touch the curve at. And then imagine that the line continues and it finds itself hitting the curve again. And that point will be the second point, and we're told that is point Q. So the first point is point P, and that's the second point. And here we're asked to find the coordinate of that second point Q. Again, special word here is exact. Right. So here the word exact means that avoid going into decimals. Give your answer in terms of a third, or if there's pi's in your equation, leave it in terms of pi, etc. Okay, so where do we start from? We need the equation of line L is given here as 2x minus 2√3y minus 1 equals 0. And the equation of the curve C is given by the parametric form on the top here. X equals to 2 cos t and y equals to √3 times cos of 2t. Now, intersection means that both graphs meet. Both graphs meet means a simultaneous equation, or combining the two equations together. We can combine them together by simply substituting in for the x and y into this equation here. So 2 times x, so 2 times 2 cos t gives you 4 cos t, minus 2√3 times y. So 2√3 times √3 gives you 2 times 3, which is 6. So again, minus 6 cos of 2y minus 1 equals to 0. Now, we have come down to solving a equation involving trigs. The criteria is that I need to have the same trig. In this case, we do. Second criteria is that the angle or the function inside the trig needs to be the same. So that's the t and that's the 2t. So we need to change one of them. Cos 2t is a double angle, so that gives us a hint that we need to write down the double angle formula. So cos of 2a is equal to, there's three versions. There's cos squared minus sine squared, there's 1 minus 2 sine squared, and then there's 2 cos squared a minus 1. Obviously, the one we pick is the cos version, because obviously the other trig is a cos, so that cos 2a needs to be a cos version too. So obviously now your a is going to be changing to a t. So we have 4 cos t minus 6 times by cos 2t. So minus 6 times 2 is minus 12 cos squared t. And minus 6 times minus 1 is positive 6. Take away 1 gives you 0. Okay, so just rearrange it into cos squared being positive. So I'll give you 12 cos squared t, which means this is going to be a negative 4 cos t. 6 minus 1 is 5, and that's therefore it's going to be minus 5, because we're changing all the signs around in order for our cos squared to be a positive, to have a positive coefficient. So you have a quadratic equation involving a cos, which factorizes into 6 cos t minus 5 in one bracket, and the second bracket would be cos of t, or 2 cos t plus 1 equals to 0, which gives us the solution for our cos t as, well, first one will give you 5 over 6, and the second one will give you minus minus a half. All right, so now we have to solve the equation for the cos. So I'm going to start with the second solution. Cos t equals to minus a half. And if you do inverse cos and minus a half, that gives you 2 pi by 3. The second solution was going to be outside this range. This is the only one that's inside the range there, so there's only one solution. And what you notice is that we already have t as 2 pi by 3. So in effect, this is giving us the point P. Okay, but we don't want point P, we want point Q. So point Q must be the solution to the second equation, cos t equals to 5/6. Now, very important here, we are not interested really on what t is, because we want to work out what the coordinate of point Q is, which is the x value and the y value. If you do work out the inverse of cos on 5/6, you will notice that you will get a decimal value. And with that decimal value, if you plug it into the x and y equation here, both your x and y are going to be decimal values. And what did we talk about here? We will lose the exact form for the coordinate of our q. So for that reason, I'm going to keep my cos t as 5/6. And if you notice in the equation, we have a cos t there. All we have to do is now replace the cos t with the value of 5/6 in the equation. So q will therefore be, so obviously the solution to that will give you the coordinate of q. So the x coordinate of q is equal to 2 times cos t, and cos, so let's just write that cos t. So that gives me 2 times by 5/6. So x coordinate is therefore 5/3. Now to work out the y value, the equation for the y is √3 times by cos 2t. But if you notice that we have the cos t value, not the cos 2t value. So we have to now use the double angle formula again for cos 2t, which we have here, and change that into 2 cos squared t minus 1. So that's √3 times by 2 times by cos squared of t. But cos t is 5/6. So therefore, if we square that, that'll give you 25/36 and then minus 1. So y is therefore, just sub this all into your calculator, 25 divided by 36 times by 2, and then subtract 1. That gives you 7√3/18. Therefore, q, the coordinate of q has an x coordinate of 5/3 and the y coordinate of 7√3/18. And we have them as exact values. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Now, it was a lengthy process in getting the final answer, and that all comes down to the number of marks. This was 2 marks, this was 5 marks, and this is 6-marker question. And the fact that it's exact meant that obviously we couldn't go into decimals. I would suggest you do the question yourself, do it again if need be, and then find a similar question in the exam paper and try to answer those questions. And I'll see you in the next video.